standards, I dare you to. What's competition? Come show me proof. This God flow, this Jesus Christ. That say a prayer before I sleep at night. I'm still sinning, don't be offended. My dick intended for a Spanish wife. This chest home and I checkers, niggas ain't playing with you. No action figures, what I'm supposed to do.
Oh boy, here we go. Welcome to another video to my channel, guys. This is your boy Dino, aka DRP here. And yes, welcome to another video of DRP anime review series. And yes, guys, the anime that I'll be going ahead to review today is none other than HighSchool DxD. But obviously, at this point, a lot of people will be like, "No, we wanted to see your reactions, Dino. No, we wanted to see your reactions to this anime." I started watching it out of cam, and you see, with this anime, I've got very mixed feelings about it, and I'll explain it why. You guys will probably think, "What the hell are you on about?" I'll talk about it, guys. Don't worry about it. I'll definitely talk about it. As you guys know, I kind of split this into 5 categories, I believe, and it's in story. So I'll be talking about story, art, sound, character, and enjoyment. So I'll be splitting it into these five categories, and then after that I'll go ahead and give it an overall score out of 10. So without further ado, let's just get right to the first category, shall we? So the first category on this list right now is story. So obviously story, I'll be going ahead and explain a bit about what the story is, what the story of this anime is about, and what I felt about it, and whether I think it's good or not. So the story is basically, I'm not gonna lie, the overall concept of the story is something I actually really liked, despite how ecchi this show is. You know, it's full of girls and boobs everywhere, but the story in itself, the concept is actually pretty cool. It's actually like a 3-way battle or war, you could say, between the devils, angels, and the fallen angels. Obviously, fallen angels are angels that are no longer in heaven; they've fallen down to earth. So obviously, the fallen angels are obviously at it with the angels in heaven, and then also the angels and the devils are at, duking it out. So it's kind of like a 3-way war, and obviously there's some history behind it as well. And in many other countries, and the myths and legends and whatnot. So but then this whole war and the story and the history of those wars is kind of overshadowed by the story of the protagonist himself. So obviously this is a high school setting. It says it in the name, after all, HighSchool DxD. So it's in a high school setting, and but it's about this boy called Issei Hyoto, who's very perverted, guys. This guy, I gotta say, he's the most perverted character I've ever seen in anime history. Okay, so it's about this boy called Issei Hyoto, who's with his friends and always, perving on girls and whatnot. And one day, obviously the girls around him are like, you guys are so perverted, just stay away from us. And obviously these guys, being as perverted as they are, one day a girl actually asks Issei out, and he's like, "Oh crap, I finally get a girlfriend, I'm finally gonna lose my virginity." Like, literally, that is what he says. So, and then obviously he goes out on a date with her, and then when the date's finished, it turns out that that girl was a devil, and she ends up killing him. Now, he doesn't know why she ends up killing him, and she mentions that he's got a sacred gear, and he didn't know what it was at the time. So obviously, when he's about to die, that's when another devil comes and saves her, being Rias Gremory, and she's like a household of the Gremory family, like a very well-known family. So yeah, she ends up saving him. She basically brings him back as a devil, so he becomes a devil himself. So he's no longer human. She brings him back as a devil, and yeah, since she brings him back as a devil, he basically becomes her servant. And obviously, this whole thing about his sacred gear, it's basically like this unique power that only a few people have, and obviously Issei has it. And whenever he switches to sacred gear, he gets this kind of like this mechanical red armor on his wrist, and it's really cool, I gotta say, because the story around it is actually really good, and it turns out to be like the Red Dragon Emperor or something like that, and obviously he can do a lot more using that sacred gear, like changing into the armor of a dragon, and it's just so cool. So he gets these power-ups along the way. Obviously there's 4 seasons to this anime right now, and this story is just basically about him just being in a Gremory family, and his dream is to become a harem king. Guys, a harem king, that's his dream. Like, I'm just thinking there, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, seriously? He's so perverted, guys. Don't get me wrong, but the guy is just so perverted. I can't. So it's so bad. And like, you see, the thing is, the story itself is actually really good. I really like the concept of the story, and when you listen to the story, you're like, oh damn, this is actually pretty good. But I felt like the story fell short at certain times because of how it was executed, in all honesty, and because at times the story wants to be serious. When they try to make the story serious, it sometimes fails, and that's because, and you know, so there's emotional moments, and then moments where the protagonist is like, I can't give up, I need to be stronger to protect everyone I love, and it, you know, this whole never giving up scene and emotional scenes. But sometimes it's kind of like a hit or miss. Sometimes, like half of the times, you just can't take it seriously because of how perverted Issei is. Like, it's really bad. Because let me just tell you one example. So there's this point where with Issei's power, the sacred gear basically correlates with how the protagonist feels. The wielder of the sacred gear, so in this case it correlates with Issei's feelings. He gets stronger when he grabs boobs. Like, there was this point where he had to like poke Rias's boobs in order to become more powerful, and I'm just like what the fuck? And like, there's this fellow dragon that's like, oh, I give you some time, grab her boobs already. And then obviously I watched this in English dubs, so I'll talk about the sound part, you know, later on. But when I watched this in English dubs, obviously, you know, Rias, you know, she was like, oh, right then, if it's gonna make you powerful, then fine. And she just accepts for who he is, like this perverted kid. She then reveals her chest, and then he's trying to go to grab it, and then he's hesitating when there's a battle going on, and the dragon's like, what are you doing? Just grab it already. And then Issei's just like, but dragon, which one shall I go for? Shall I go for the left, or shall I go to the right? Or shall I use my left hand or right hand, or something like that? I think he does ask that. He goes, shall I poke with my left hand or right hand? And then the dragon's like, what the fuck, bro? It doesn't matter what hand you use, it's gonna feel the same. And then Issei's like, no, it's not gonna feel the same. And he starts he's going on his passionate side about, you know, boobs. And it's just like, no, Issei, you're just ruining the seriousness, the little seriousness that's on the story. Like, seriously, at times when it tries to get serious, and I'm like, oh boy, here it goes. It just, sometimes, like I said, it's kind of like a hit or miss situation when it gets serious. When the story gets serious, sometimes it goes along with that, and I actually like it. But the other half of the times, it just gets ruined with how perverted Issei is. Like, you can't take Issei pretty seriously at times. So yeah, guys, it's like I said, with the stories, like I said, the story is actually pretty good. When you read the story, or when you understand the grasp of the story, it's actually pretty decent, and the concept of it is so intriguing. What I felt like they did wrong is how they executed the story, and it just didn't really go well, especially with how perverted Issei can be in such serious situations. It just ruins that serious moment, if you get what I mean. So I gotta say, I have to give the story, just because I like the story so much, but at the same time, Issei's pervertedness does get in the way sometimes. It kind of causes some friction sometimes. I don't know if you guys agree with me, hopefully, but then again, you know, not everyone's gonna agree with me. That's totally fine. So in terms of story, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. the reason why I'm giving it 6 out of 10 is because the story definitely had a lot of potential, and it's the execution part that I felt like they fell short of. So I have to give it a 6 out of 10, guys. So without further ado, let's get right to the second category. Alright guys, so the second category, we are going on to art. The art side of the anime. Now here's the thing, the third season and the fourth season had quite a big gap. Like I think the third and fourth season had like 2 to 3 years time gap, like in terms of, you know, when the anime started airing out and whatnot. So there was definitely a change in art and animations. I'm not gonna lie, even though there was that, even before the change, I did like the art. The artwork was good. You know, the character, you know, the designs on the characters, the art animations, especially during the fighting scenes, it's good. Like that's probably one of the best bits about this, you know, about the art part, is how the fight scenes actually look pretty decent. And on, you know, just the surroundings, the characters, they actually look pretty good. But at the same time, it's also filled with a lot of boobs and, you know, shots of underwear. Like I don't know what else to say really. Like this entire anime, like, was just shots of boobs and underwear shots. Like I don't know what else to say to it. Nothing much else I can say. Like it wasn't anything, oh my god, it's so mind-blowing, spectacular artwork, you know, you get what I mean? It's nothing like at that level, but it's not at the same time, it's not something like unwatchable. You'll be able to watch it because the art at times is actually pretty decent. So it's kind of like a standard, it's kind of like in between that point. So like I said, it's good, but it isn't something spectacular, but at the same time it's not, you know, bad or something like that, or bad to the point where you just can't watch it. So again, I will give the art a 6 out of 10, guys. Like I said, it's just kind of like in between with the art. So nothing spectacular, but nothing bad. You know, it's kind of like in between. Like the art got better as it went through, like the fighting scenes and whatnot, but otherwise it was decent. I'll give it a decent score. So once again, I'll give it just above average, guys. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. The art, I give it a 6 out of 10, guys. There's nothing much else I can say to it though. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the third category of this anime review. Alright guys, so we're gonna go into the category which I believe I would say will score the most at, in my opinion, and that's sound. And I gotta say, guys, you know, can you remember when, you know, earlier in my video I said that in certain situations when, you know, when the situation on the anime got pretty serious, it was kind of like a hit or miss situation. When it hits, when it becomes good, there was one reason for it, and it's because of the soundtrack. It's the soundtrack of, you know, the soundtracks of this anime, I gotta say, when it got serious in the fight scenes as well, it's pretty solid. It's off the chains, I'm not gonna lie. They did a very good job of adding the intensity of musics in certain scenes. And obviously the soundtracks, not only in fighting scenes but in other scenes as well, romantic scenes, you know, scenes where they're, you know, the girls are trying to seduce the main protagonist. This is a harem anime after all. So ecchi harem, you know, whenever it gets to that point, like the genres, it's got so many genres in that: comedy, ecchi, harem, romance, school. So whenever it goes into a specific scene, the soundtrack that goes with it is, you know, like spot on. That's what I like about this anime. Like the soundtracks were like spot on like certain situations almost all the time. So that was one thing I really liked about it. And another thing I really liked about it on the sound category is the voice acting. Now I watched this in English dubs, as I mentioned before, and I gotta say, this was one of the few animes that I've watched where the dubs is actually better than the subs, in my opinion. Let me explain why. It's not that the subs is bad, you know, the voice actors on the subs may be more fitting in the anime in subs. You know, that might be, you know, other people's preference really, because they can't take the dubs and whatnot. But I felt like the dubs were good here, because the dialogues in the English dubs actually adds to the comedy and the hilariousness of the scenes and situations. I'm not gonna lie, it's you know, because it was in English dubs and the voice acting of it, and at certain situations the dialogues that they say, it does actually put more, even if the joke is not funny, the way they, you know, say the dialogue in English dubs, it made me chuckle a bit. Even if the joke wasn't funny, the way they said it, it made me laugh a bit. So, but then there were at times where the jokes were, even the jokes and the comedy sometimes were a hit or miss. But when it does hit, it's because of how it was executed with the voice acting in English dubs. And that's what I really appreciate about it. Like when the main character says, I promise not to drain his pimp juice or something like that. Or there was this time where obviously he now knows he's a devil, and obviously devils can go to other places through a magic circle. So they create a magic circle and you just like teleport there. And it seemed like Issei didn't teleport from the place. He was getting ready. He was like, I'll see you guys later. And he doesn't teleport, and then he opens his eyes. He looks around, he's in the same place, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, it's those kind of little subtle dialogues that actually does make me laugh, and it actually makes me appreciate the fact that I felt like the dubs did it better than the subs. Don't, please, any HighSchool DxD fans out there, please don't roast me just because I said that, but in my opinion, I just felt like the dubs was better than the subs. So I gotta say, in the sound department, I think this is where the anime excelled quite well at. So in the sound department, I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10, guys. A 9 out of 10, yes! A 9 out of 10, guys, I gotta say. So, yeah, there's that. So, without further ado, let's get into the last category, I believe. So I've done story, art, sound. No, I'm gonna go into the fourth category now. Fourth category, this is gonna be pretty interesting to talk about, so let's get right to it straight away. So, as you can see, I'm gonna go into the fourth category now, and this is character. Yes! Now here comes, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Now, we know the main protagonist, Issei. He's an extremely perverted guy, guys. And I gotta say, like I said before, he's probably one of the most perverted main characters in anime history. In anime history, he's one of the most perverted main characters. Unless I haven't seen an anime where someone's more perverted than Issei, I don't know. If there's someone who is more perverted than this man, then please do tell me in the comment section below, because I don't think I've seen anyone as perverted as Issei. And I gotta say, he can be an idiot at times, like the way he says things. Like every single one of his thought does go. The majority of the times, it does revolve around something perverted and lewd. I'm not gonna lie. What's a fly there? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get a fly and I got it. Sorry. But yeah, like I said, pretty much, like I say, 90% of his thoughts is always around something perverted, alright? It could be more than that. Like, I might actually be generous and say 90%. So let's be honest. He's a decent guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's just full on perverted and he's just always thinking about, you know, dirty shit. Well, most of the times he is, but he's a decent guy. As a guy himself, he's actually pretty decent. He's actually a decent guy with a heart of gold. Now, when I say that, he's actually a kind-hearted guy. He always looks out for his friends. Because there was this point where oh my god, it's gonna get into spoilers, but in the first season, he ends up meeting this girl called Asia, and Asia is actually a nun, and she has a sacred gear as well, but obviously she ends up getting killed by the devil that actually went out with Issei, that tried to kill Issei as well. And obviously, knowing that Asia dies, he got so mad that feelings that he had at that point transferred as power into the sacred gear, and he defeated the demon that way. So obviously that was one of the more serious situations out there that I felt like they did well, and it just goes to show how much he cares about his friends and obviously fellow girls. But yeah, I'm just trying to say he's a decent guy that really cares about his friends. He will do anything for his friends, like as I said before. So you know, early on he does establish himself as a pervert with a good heart. Like, that sounds weird, I know, but that is pretty much you know, summing him up in a nutshell. He's a pervert. He's a perverted guy with a good heart, and he does remain like that throughout the whole 4 series. He does gain development, but it was very minor, I guess, you know, especially with the whole sacred gear and whatnot. So now that I spoke about Arcia, let's just go into Arcia for a bit. You know, Arcia is one of your stereotypical nice girls, you know, those girls who's like very sweet to everyone, who innocent. She's very innocent, very sweet. Well, I say innocent, but the things that she says or does to Issei, she fell for Issei the moment she met him. She kind of like fell in love with the guy. Like, you could tell she really loves Issei. Like, when it comes to Issei, she's just like, please, I love you. Like, she's just all over the guy. Well, when I say all over, not like in a physical way, but like her emotions and whatnot, her feelings for him. But yeah, she's obviously she can't really defend herself because she's not. She, like I said, she used to be a nun before she died, and Rias brought her back as a devil. But before she was resurrected as a devil, she used to be a nun, and she had the ability to heal people's wounds. And obviously, I think that was kind of like her sacred gear, where she can heal people. And obviously, you know, when she died, Rios Grimmery brought her back alive. And obviously, so she doesn't have any offensive skills, but she can actually heal people, and her healing powers actually come in pretty clutch in certain situations. So she's good. Like I said, one of those typical nice girls who's very innocent, sweet. Like, it's not that I don't like Arcia, but at the same time, it's like I don't love Arcia as well. So it's kind of like in between. I'm okay with Arcia. Like, when I see Arcia every time, okay, yeah, she's alright. Like, I don't hate her, but I don't love her. It's kind of like in between. So obviously, you know, she was a good character. Like I said, her abilities were good. Like, healing abilities were really good, so there's that. So obviously, Issei, Arcia, Rias Grimmery, the one from the Grimmery family, who's actually resurrected Arcia and Issei to become her servants. She's the whole gorgeous girl who Issei goes, oh my god, she's the prettiest girl I've seen. Like, with like the typical big chest, the typical curvy hips and butt. Like, you get the picture right now, guys. She's actually a pretty decent character. Why I'm saying that, she's actually more of the decent characters in the series. Why? Because she's actually very strong-willed. She has such a strong will when it comes to certain situations, battles and whatnot. She's honest. She's always honest. She doesn't like beat around the bush when she wants to say something to someone. She actually just says it straight. And she's very compassionate person. I gotta say, and one of the things that I noticed in the series is how she takes everything for what it is. You know, she accepts everything for what it is, especially Issei's perversion. Especially when it comes to Issei's pervertedness, she just accepts it as it is. That's what I really like about her. She doesn't like argue about it, or she doesn't moan about what she gets or whatnot, and she'd be like, oh, I should be getting something better. No, she doesn't actually do that. She actually just accepts it as it comes, and she ends up using Issei's pervertedness as motivation for him to become stronger. You know, she's that kind of person. And she doesn't really care what anybody thinks. That's one of the best things about her as well. She just does things her own way. So I gotta say, Rias Grimmery was more of the decent characters out there. And then there's a few side characters. Arcano, Kiba. Kiba's like the guy at the back. It's like having his hair like that, having his hand on his chin. Obviously Rias, I forgot to talk about how the characters look like. Rias is the one with the scarlet red hair. Issei is the one that's trying to go for whatever he's looking at. I don't know. Wow, I forgot her name. Arcia is the blonde hair girl. And Arcano. Now Arcano is the one with the orange ribbon. And this girl right here who's behind Rias is Konako. Yeah, I think she's Konako, and she's kind of like the powerhouse as well, like the physically one of the strongest members of the Grimmery family or whatnot. So she's not within the Grimmery family, but I guess she sees her parents as family. That's what I meant. But yeah, Arcano, Kiba, Konako, like all of these characters are pretty decent. Like I really like Kiba. Kiba was like a really decent character, especially because during the second season they brought like a story about how he became one of Rias' servants and what happened to him before that. And I gotta say, that story was actually pretty compelling. I really was intrigued with Kiba's storyline. Arkano's storyline, it was okay, but Kiba's storyline, I really enjoyed it. Konako's story, that's also pretty compelling as well. So all of these characters are pretty decent. Issei, yeah. So with the characters, some of the characters are decent, some of the characters are okay, some of the characters are just like, I find it very hard to like it. I found it very hard to enjoy that character, you get what I mean? So like I said, Issei, when he, like at times when he does get serious, shit gets real. If a perverted guy like him gets serious and he gives no fucks given, that's when you know shit's about to go hit the fan. Like it's crazy. When he gets angry, you don't want to see him angry. That's one of the things that's really scary about Issei. When he gets angry, oh, hell breaks loose. So there was this time where Arcia, obviously, like I told you, when Arcia dies, he went totally berserk. He went totally berserk. He was beating the living crap out of the devil that was the girl that asked him out and tried to kill him once. It was crazy. And there's many other moments like this in the series, and I really enjoyed those moments when he got serious. So yeah, the character side, yeah, no, I spoke about that for 10 minutes now, god damn. But yeah, character wise, it was okay. I'll give it, I'll be generous and I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I was gonna give it a 6, but I'll be generous and you know what? Not even a 6.5 out of 10. Yes, that's my final answer. 6.5 out of 10 for characters, guys. So yeah, let's get into the final category and then give it an overall score for this anime. Now we are at the final category, guys, and that's the enjoyment category. Now, like I said before, there's a few things you can enjoy about this anime, in all honesty. The comedy on it is actually pretty spot on. I really did enjoy the comedy at times, even though the comedy was a hit and miss, because some of the jokes I actually loved and laughed at, especially with how it was said and executed as well. Others I didn't feel it was that funny though. Like there was some jokes that were like, oh my god, that was pretty funny and I loved it, but there were other jokes where I didn't find it funny as much. And so it's kind of like a hit or miss situation, but the comedy, the voice acting does add and help the comedy make it that much funnier. So there's that. The action is probably one of the best things. One of the best things I really enjoyed from this anime is the action scenes. It's the fight scenes. They were off the chains, especially the very latest season, being season 4. Issei ends up going up against a guy called Riser. And my god, that fight, the final fight of them together was epic. That was an epic fight right there, I gotta say. I really enjoyed the fights. The action scenes were off the chains. Like there was, even though there was like comedy I laughed at, they end up repeating that sometimes, and sometimes I just laugh less and less and less. But like I said, the comedy I laughed mostly in regards to the dialogue, because like I said, the dialogue is what helped the comedy be funny. Like I said, the actions were good. The fan service, I bet a lot of the guys enjoyed the fan service in this anime. Now, okay, let me be honest with you. I'll be lying if I said I didn't enjoy the fan service, alright? So, I wouldn't be, I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy the fan service, but I felt like at times they were kind of like throwing it at us. Those times where they would show it and I'll be like, ooh, like, what do I see here? Okay. I like what I see, but then at the same time, they constantly throw it at you, and it's just like, alright, just move on, let's move on now. So I always had that kind of thing as well. So yeah, there was a lot of fan service moments there. So, like a lot of boobs, a lot of underwear shots. You get the gist of what I mean. Fan service. So, yeah, I gotta say, like I said, I enjoyed. There's few things that I really did enjoy in this series, but there was few things where it was kind of like, okay, let's just move on now. Like, not that I enjoyed much of it. So, yeah, so the enjoyment level, I give it a 7, just because of how I enjoyed how funny it was at times, and how the action scenes is what made me give this enjoyment category a 7. I gotta say, 7 out of 10, guys. 7 out of 10 for the enjoyment, because I just love the fighting scenes. Like, when it comes to action scenes, they do this whole battle tournament called the raiding battles, where you have to, like, it's kind of like a chess piece games, because like the members represent a chess piece. Like Issei represents a pawn, Arcia represents a bishop, Akano represents a queen, Konoko represents a rook, I think, and then Kiba represents a knight. It's just like, it's pretty much like a chess game, really. And obviously Issei is someone, even though he's a pawn, he's actually inherited 8 pieces of pawn, which means he's pretty powerful if he's inherited 8 pieces of it, 8 chess pieces, if you get what I mean. And yeah, it was a really interesting concept with the whole raiding battle and whatnot between families and whatnot. So I really like those parts. So yeah, like I said, I'll give it a 7, guys. Alright guys, now it's time for that. I spoke about all 5 categories being story, art, sound, character, and enjoyment. Those are the 5 categories I spoke about. Now let's get to the overall score. Overall score, like I said, for story, like mostly I gave it 6. You see, overall I would give this anime, I don't know if people are gonna like what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give it a low 7. 7 out of 10, guys, and that's just hitting the borderline 7. You get what I mean? So now people are gonna be so pissed. They're gonna be, oh fuck you, Dino. Like, you don't appreciate the true value of ecchi and harem. Like, it's not that, guys. Like I said, I'll be lying if I didn't enjoy it. But the thing is, I think this anime series is for the ecchi fans, mostly for the ecchi and harem fans. If you're not a harem, if you don't like animes where it involves harem and ecchi elements into it, then this anime is just not for you, guys. I gotta say, this anime is just not for you. Obviously, people who are not ecchi fans or harem fans will still watch the anime for the other elements that are in it, like for the comedy, for the actions, for the romance, alright? But yeah, it kind of like one thing that I really do I want to appreciate the creator doing is regarding to the fan service, guys. And you guys are probably thinking about, what am I on about? Now, what the creator does is, it's pretty clever. Like I said, the sacred gear that he inherits correlates with how the person who's the wielder feels. It correlates with the person's feelings, and obviously the creator of this anime, he makes the fan service somewhat of a plot point by involving it with the main character being Issei's drives you know, him driving further, him driving to become stronger, his motivation. He kind of puts that as a plot towards involving it with the main character's, you know, motivation, and that's what actually enables the main character unlock more and more abilities with the sacred gear later on. So just for that, it gives the fan service a reason to exist in the anime. So I get why the fan service is there. You know, it gives like an existing reason. It gives a reason to why the fan service actually exists in the anime in the first place, because it actually drives the main character to become stronger and, you know, stronger and stronger before. And that's because of how perverted Issei is, and that's why he becomes stronger, because of the whole fan service stuff. It's a high. So, in a nutshell, HighSchool DxD is an ecchi / harem anime that actually develops into a decent storyline. Let me put it that way. It develops into a good story, because, like I said, the storyline actually has a really good concept. At times, it's just, I feel like they do not execute it as well in certain points, but it does develop into a decent story, especially with the last season, season 4. The way it ended, I feel like it's not the end. I feel like they're gonna yet do another season, especially with how famous this is. I gotta say, it's very famous among the anime community. So like I said, overall, I'll give this a 7 out of 10. Just about 7 out of 10, guys. So yeah, on that note, I'll end the video right here, guys. Thank you so much for watching yet another DRP anime review series video. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy today's video, then smash the like button, comment and share all those good things so to see more content on me doing more DRP anime review series videos like this in the future. However, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and join the DRP guild today so you won't miss a single video from the channel, guys, whether it's gaming videos, whether it's reaction videos, or whether it's live streams. So as always, guys, this is your boy Dina signing out, and have a nice day, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. So until then, peace.